UFC Fight Night, Burns versus Morales, the most confident picks to least confident picks of this card. We got 12 fights this weekend. We got a few underdogs on this card that we're predicting to go out there and get the win. We're going to start with this first fight of the card. Tisha Pennington, Luana Santos make our way up to that main event of undefeated Michael Morales and Gilbert Burns. And we're going to give you my percentage chance. I think every one of them is going to win. Of course, we do have the bolded fighter here, Tisha Pennington, Hyun-Sung Park, Denise Gomez, etc. As the fighter we actually think is going to go out there and get the win. We got the betting odds right here just so you guys can see how confident I am as opposed to what the betting odds are and how confident the bookies are in every single fighter, because some fighters I'm more confident than the odds have them, and some fighters I'm way less confident than these odds have them. You can use that to help you guys bet on MMA. Let's get it started with Tisha Pennington, Luana Pinheiro. The odds are crazy. I mean, I'm just going to go out there and say it. I'm nowhere near 4-1 confident on Tisha Pennington going out there and getting this win. That's insane. She was once almost a minus 500 favorite. What are we doing? I was talking about it in my full card prediction video. The odds are atrocious this week. I got Tisha Pennington as just a 2-1 favorite. This is madness, having her as a 4-1 favorite over Luana Pinheiro, who only lost to really legit girls in this UFC women's strawweight division. So I don't know what we're doing. 4-1 is crazy. That's the dog or pass. Do not bet on Tisha Pennington at those odds. Hyun-Sung Park taking on Carlos Hernandez. The betting odds have Hyun-Sung Park at minus 170. I'm a little bit less confident in Hyun-Sung Park, but not by much. But not by much. Carlos has slightly better striking on tape. There is improvements Hyun-Sung Park could have made for sure. But Hyun does have the wrestling and grappling. I'm like minus 150 range. So I'll give it like 59% for Hyun-Sung Park to go out there and beat Carlos Hernandez this weekend. So far, that is going to be my least confident pick of this card. And then goes to my most confident pick of the card so far, Denise Gomez. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a minus 650 favorite at most, minus 700 at most, minus 545 at the worst. That is crazy. I am not that confident on Denise Gomez, but I am confident. I feel very good about Denise Gomez. I'm around a 78%, so almost 4-1 confident on Denise Gomez. I'm going to have her at 78%. I'm feeling very good about her going out there and getting the win this weekend. Then we got Luana Santos. A lot of women's MMA fights earlier on this UFC fight. Now we got Luana, Denise Gomez, Luana again, Tainara, Tisha, and Elise. A lot of women's MMA. Luana Santos at minus 165, minus 170 range. I feel like this is a pick'em. I really do. I feel like this is a pick'em in the UFC bantamweight division. I feel very slightly on Luana Santos. This is for sure a dog or pass. I'm going to go 52%. 52% for Luana Santos. That is a very close fight. Again, she's moving back up from flyweight to the women's bantamweight divisions. There's unknowns there. Tainara hasn't fought in a very long time. There's unknowns there. There's a lot of unknowns here. You can't be too confident on Luana Santos there. So far, Luana is going to be my new least confident pick of the card so far. Then we move to Yadier Del Val and Connor Matthews. These are some big odds as well. A lot of heavy favorites here. Yadier is 5-1 on the betting odds currently, which I also think is a little bit much. For Yadier, I'm a little bit less confident in Yadier than I am with Denise Gomez, but I'm still more confident in Yadier than I am with Tisha Pennington. So I am going to have Yadier Del Val at 70%. Feel decently about him, but there's some unknowns. He didn't get the finish in his Contender Series fight. Connor, if he doesn't get finished, is pretty good with the wrestling and grappling and could use that to get this win. It's a closer fight than a lot of people think it is. 5-1 is definitely kind of crazy in my opinion. Jared Gordon, is he still the dog? He's a slight favorite now, minus 110. So this is basically a pick'em in the UFC lightweight division. I am more confident in Jared Gordon than I am with Luana Santos. So I'm kind of right in the middle here. Jared Gordon, I am going to have him right at the 56% mark. It is a slight lead. I do not feel very good. That is a very close fight in the UFC lightweight division. We move on to Mateus Camilo and Gabe Green. I am going to move Mateus Camilo, and I'm going to move him less than Tisha Pennington for sure. but a little bit more than Hyun-Sung Park. I'm going to go 64%. Almost 2-1 favorite territory for Mateus Camilo, in my opinion. The actual betting odds, let's see, have Mateus Camilo as a 2.5-1 favorite, so I am not as confident as the betting odds have Mateus Camilo. It's a much closer fight. Melquizael Costa, Julian Erosa, I'm going to have him below Mateus Camilo by a little bit. I'm going to go 60%. I'm going to go 60%. That's a close one. That is a close one. I definitely lean Melquizael, but it's not going to be a domination. That's a 29-28, very close one that could go either way. If there's a finish, I think it's going to be Melquizael. If it goes to a decision, I think it can go either way. So not feeling super good about Melquizael. That is a close one. I got 60% there. We move on after that to Nursultan Ruziboyev, who is a 3-1 favorite. I, for good reason, am nowhere near as confident in Nursultan. I know a lot of people are riding on Nursultan this weekend. I'm going to be honest. I have him tied with Melquizael Costa. I think there's unknowns with the fact that Nursultan get out-wrestled and controlled by Joaquin Buckley for like 3 rounds. And Dustin has done the same thing to Gerald Meerschaert. In my head, that's rubbing me the wrong way to be confident on Nursultan Ruziboyev. So I'm only going to go 60%. I do not feel super, super good about Nursultan Ruziboyev keeping that fight on the feet and just winning it there. I think he will, but I'm not confident. I'm not confident at all. Sadiq Yusuff, I think that's an underdog pick for this UFC fight card. Sadiq is at plus 120 at the best, plus 125, my fault. And I do think he's going to win. Actually, more confident in Sadiq Yusuff. This is weird. I feel more confident in an underdog than I do in some of the favorites on this card. I feel right around Hyun-Sung Park range, just a little bit less, 58%. Let's find it. That's 68, my fault. 58% for Sadiq Yusuff to go out there and get the win versus Myron Santos. Feel decently for an underdog. 58% is pretty solid. But I feel pretty decent about Sadiq Yusuff as a dog there. Rodolfo Bellato, Paul Craig. Massive, massive favorite is Rodolfo Bellato. And I'm going to have him right in between here, Denise Gomez and Elise Reed. I'm going to go 72%, almost. I'm going to go 73%, almost a 3-1 favorite for Rodolfo Bellato. The actual odds, 5-1. 5-1. Nowhere near that confident. That's crazy. Michael Morales, the biggest favorite of the card, I believe, minus 950 on FanDuel. Minus 1,000. 10-1 for Michael Morales is insane. What are we doing? What are we doing here? I am going to move Michael Morales down a lot to 65%. I'm not even 2-1 confident on Michael Morales here. I have him around minus 190 is where I think the odds should be. This is a close fight in the welterweight division, and I think everybody's just parlaying Michael Morales because they see he's undefeated and he's shiny, and Gilbert Burns is on a losing streak. You should not be minus 1,000. That's like 92% confident. That is insane. But this is what I got. My 50-50 fights that could go either way. Melquizael Costa, Nursultan Ruziboyev, Hyun-Sung Park, Sadiq Yusuff, Jared Gordon, Luana Santos, and Mateus Camilo. My almost confident pick. These ones are iffy. They're almost confident. They're almost 50-50. They're around that range. Michael Morales, Tisha Torres, and Yadier Del Val. Then my confident picks, Rodolfo Bellato and Denise Gomez. These are my most confident to least confident. Ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe. Check out that pinned comment. See you in the next one.